Hello everyone, this is Banisha from Food Tech Network. Today we are going to solve the question paper regarding food science and food nutrition subject. Before we start our session, I would like to request you to all, if you are not subscribed, then I would like to suggest you all that please do subscribe our channel for more videos. So let's start with our session with question number 1. Workers should not handle food or eating and drinking utensils when they have or recently had any of the following symptoms. First is vomiting, diarrhea, fever, sore throat with fever, jaundice, and infected gut. Second is runny nose, sneezing, cough, congestion, and cold symptoms. Third is option A and option B. The option D is none of the above. Is option A. Food worker that have or recently had a symptoms including vomiting, diarrhea, fever, sore throat with fever, jaundice, and infected gut must not handle the food being served to the public or handle any eating or drinking utensils. This restriction is because of the high risk such as worker posed to transmit disease causing bacteria and viruses to other through the food utensils. Food worker also that have the other symptoms such as runny nose and sneezing, cough, congestions are allowed to handle the food or utensils provided they wash their hands when required and are careful to not contaminate the food and utensils. Food worker should wash their hands after which of the following? Option A coughing, sneezing, scratching, wiping nose, and cleaning. Option B touching exposed body parts as well as handling a raw animal food and handling. Option C before putting on a disposable gloves or after using the restroom. Option D is all of the above. Answer is option D, that is all of the above. Food worker must wash their hands after any activity that contaminates their hands. Such activity includes but not are the limited to using the restroom, coughing, sneezing, scratching, wiping nose, cleaning, touching exposed body parts as well as handling a raw animal food and also handling money and before putting on a disposable gloves. 3. The minimum time food workers should wash their hands is option A 5 second, option B 20 second, option C 30 second, and option D 40 seconds. Option B that is 20 second. The minimum time food workers should wash their hands after contaminating them is 20 seconds in order to remove a non-indigenous organisms from the skin's surface. Disposable gloves should be worn by workers handling which food? Option A raw chicken being placed in a deep freezer and deep fryer. Option B sandwich bread for immediate service to customer. Option C A and B and option D none of the above. Option B that is sandwich bread for immediate servings to customers. Because disposable gloves must be worn by a food worker handling any ready to eat foods. Foods being handled that are subject to a further cooking or reheating steps are not required to wear gloves. For example, gloves are not required for a food worker making a pizza that will be baked later in processing. However, gloves are required when the handling lettuce or vegetables for a salad to be served. For simplicity and safety, all raw poultry, beef, fish, meat should be cooked to what minimum temperature? Option A 165 degrees Fahrenheit, option B 185 degree Fahrenheit, option C 212 degree Fahrenheit, and option D none of the above. There is option A that is 165 degree Fahrenheit. for simplicity and safety, all raw poultry, beef, fish, meat should be cooked to 165 degree Fahrenheit or 74 degree Celsius. There are some animal foods that do not need to cooked to this temperature, but it is best to cook all the food thoroughly. Typically, most hamburger and other deep fried food from commercially establishment cooked food to at least 180 degree Fahrenheit as well as 82 degrees Celsius before serving to patrons. Example of cross contaminations are option A, raw chicken is processed on a cutting board, then lettuce is sliced on the same surface. Option B, food worker handle a raw meat, then assemble sandwich without washing their hands. Option D, liquids from raw hamburger dripped onto vegetables for salads. And option D, all of the above. Option D, that is all of the above. Basically, cross contamination is one of the leading causes of foodborne illnesses outbreak. It occurs when harmful organisms are transferred from one item to another item without further washing, cooking, or reheating. The best way to prevent cross contamination are to process raw animal food on a separate surfaces from other food, as well as store a raw animal food below or away from the other normal food. Examples of how to rapidly cool food include option A, portioning large quantity of food into a smaller units by slicing and pouring. Option 2, using a metal rather than plastic containers. Option C, ensuring a vigorous air circulation around food. And option D, all of the above. Option D, that is all of the above. Potentially hazard foods such as most soups, beef, and poultry must be rapidly cooled to minimize the growth and reproduction of microorganisms. As well as rapid cooling means food is chilled from 135 degrees Fahrenheit to 41 degree Fahrenheit in a 6 hours or less. However, if cooling food cannot be chilled from 135 to 70 degrees Celsius within the first 2 hours of the process, the food should be reheated to 165 degree Fahrenheit and the cooling process should be restarted. When is the food safety supervisor required to undergo post-take training again? Option A, when the FSS changed to the sector in which he is working. Option B, after 1 year. Option C, after 2 years. And option D is perpetual. Option A, the lifetime validity or perpetual nature of the food safety supervisor certificate, that is FSS certificate, have been revoked. And now the FSS certificate will be valid for 2 years. If the food handler with an FSS certificate set to expire on 1st February 2024, for an example, should have to undergo a refresher training for the renewal of the certificate, or if they change their working sectors. 9. The Food Safety Display Board FSDB is voluntarily in nature for a meat retail outlet. It is a true or not? It is a false. It is this sentence is not true. FSDB boards are informative board which primarily display food safety and hygiene practices to be followed by a FBO in their establishment. It very common and mandatory for all the food sectors. When a person consumes food containing a toxins in it, that causes a discomfort or a disease. It is called option A foodborne infection, option B foodborne intoxication, option C foodborne toxication, and option D foodborne parasitic infection. So the correct B, that is foodborne intoxication. It is an infection or irritation of your digestive tract that spreads through food or drinks. Viruses, bacteria, and parasites causes most of the food poisoning, and harmful chemicals may also cause food poisoning. Question number 11. How much deviation is tolerated in case of nutritional declaration by a food service establishment? Option A 10%, option B 15%, option C 20%, and option D 25%. So option D, that is as per FSSAI guideline, 25% tolerance is acceptable for a nutritional declaration by food service establishment. The chopping block at the meat retail shop should be made up of option A wooden block, option B cement slab, option C marble slab, and option D stainless steel slab. So option A, the chopping board block should be of food grade material which does not contaminate the meat. And if the block is of wooden, then it should be of hardwood trunk, which is solid enough and should not be contaminate the meat. 13. Which form as per FSS regulation 2011 should be supported with bill? Option A form B, option B form C, option C form E, and option D form 9. Option C, that is form E, is supported with bill. Basically form E is every manufacturer and distributor or dealer selling an article of food to a vendor shall give either separately or in the bill cash memo or a label warranty in a form E. The recent notification of FSSAI permits the bakery and sweet manufacturer under registration category to procure loose oil and spices from the local or weekly market. The statement is true or not? So option A is yes, it is allowed. Option B, no, it is not allowed. Option C, yes, in certain state where the state FDA permits. And option D, yes, in the case the seller of loose oil and spices are registered under municipal corporation. Option B, no, it is not allowed. As per FSSAI regulations and guideline, food manufacturers should buy their raw material from the authorized and approved vendors only. When the food handler can avoid a washing hand, option A while preparing food, option B after handling raw meat and poultry, option C after smoking, and option D is before serving the food. Option A, that is while preparing the food. Hand washing is especially important when handling food and at other times when you are likely to get and spread the germs. Protect yourself and your family by washing your hands at these key times before, during, and after preparing the food, as well as before eating also. Number 16. How long should you store leftover in the refrigerator? Option A 3 to 4 days, option B 1 to 2 weeks, option C 3 weeks, and option D all of the above. Option A, that is 3 to 4 days. Use leftovers within 3 to 4 days. Discard any food left at room temperature for more than 2 hours or 1 hour if the temperature is above 90 degree Fahrenheit. Place a food in a shallow container and refrigerate at a 40 degree Fahrenheit or lower, or freeze it at 0 degree Fahrenheit. Frozen leftovers will taste best and be at the best quality if eaten within about 3 months. Question number 17. If you have never gotten sick from food that you prepare, even though you don't follow a food safety guideline, could it make someone else sick? It is true or false? Or you can say that uh, option A yes or option B no. Statement is yes. If some people have a greater risk for foodborne illnesses, a food you safely eat might make others sick. People with higher risk for foodborne illnesses include infant, pregnant women, young children, older adults, people with weakened immune system, and individuals with certain chronic diseases. 18. If a food tastes okay, is it safe to eat? Option A yes, option B no, option C maybe, or option D not sure. Option C, that is maybe. However, don't count on your taste, smell, or sight to tell you if the food is safe to eat or not. Even if tasting could tell, why risk getting sick? A tiny taste may not protect you, as well as a small amount of some bacteria, such as E. coli, could make you sick. When in doubt, just throw a food out. Since only the inside of melons, such as watermelons, is eaten, does their outer rind need to be washed? Option A yes or option B? Correct answer is option A, that is yes. Bacteria present in soil and it can contaminate the outside of the watermelon as well as any kind of melons. When melons are cut, this bacteria are transferred into the inner part of the fruit or inner part of the melon. So it is very much necessary to wash any kind of fruit at inner side of the surfaces. Butyrorefractometer reading indicates option A fat adulteration, option B melamine adulteration, option C aflatoxin adulteration, and option D histamine adulteration. So the option A, that is fat adulteration. A butyrorefractometer is an instrument which is used to measure the concentration of butyrate in a sample. As well as butyrate is a type of fatty acid that is found in a ghee or fat. The butyrorefractometer is used to determine the amount of butyrate in ghee which is present in ghee or some fatty food samples. Question number 21. LSMS is used to analyze option A antibiotics, option B pesticides, option C antibodies, and option D is both A and B. There is option A, that is antibiotic. L- LSMS, which stands for liquid chromatography and mass spectrometry, is a powerful analytical technique which is used for separation, identification, as well as quantification of both unknown and known compounds in antibiotics, as well as to elucidate the structure and chemical properties of the different molecules in the antibiotic. So, LSMS is used to analyze the structure and chemical compound of the antibiotics. 2. Which of the following has a high fiber content? Option A oats, option B bajra, option C wheat, option D barley. So option A, that is oat. Oat bran is high in soluble fiber which has been shown to lower blood cholesterol level. Wheat, corn, rice bran are high in insoluble fiber which helps to prevent the constipation. Number 23. Borden test is used to check adulteration of option A honey, option B ghee, option C egg, and option D. So the correct answer is option B, that is ghee. This test is used to identify the adulterant, that is vanaspati ghee, in the desi ghee. So the food sample is treated with the mixture containing 5 ml of hydrochloric acid and 2% furfural solutions in the alcohol. 4. Nutritional information on the label is not required for which of the following product? Option A pickles, option B soft drinks, option C breads, and option D biscuits. So the option B, that is soft drinks. As per FSSAI guideline, the nutritional information may not be necessary in case of foods such as raw agriculture commodities like wheat, rice, cereals, spices mix, herbs, condiments, table sugar, table salt, as well as jaggery and non-nutritive products such as soluble tea, soft drinks, coffee, soluble coffee, and coffee chicory mixture, as well as packaged drinking water. 25. The only difference between frozen dessert and ice cream is that option A use of vegetable oil, option B use of milk fat, option C use of skim milk, and option D none of the above. Option A, that is use of vegetable oil. Ice cream is made up of milk solids or fats, whereas frozen dessert use a vegetable oil and vanaspati. The use of different ingredients naturally renders a varied nutritional benefits to the two. For example, vegetable oil contains trans fat and saturated fats, which rank high in unhealthy index. Question number 26. Which of the following methods dehydrate microbial cells through the plasmolysis, thereby killing them? Option A smoking, option B sugaring, option C heating, and option D sun drying. Option B, that is sugaring. Sugaring involves using a high concentration of sugar to create an environment where the microbial cells lose water through osmosis. This process leads to plasmolysis, where the microbial cells become dehydrated and eventually perish. 27. What is NABL? Option A, authority to grant laboratory accreditation as per ISO 17025. Option B, authority to grant BIS symbol. BIS stand for Bureau of Indian Standard. Option C, authority to grant food license. And option D, authority to grant MMPO. Answer is option A. National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratory, which is NABL, is an accreditation body with its accreditation system established in accordance with the IES 17011, as well as NABL offers accreditation services in a non discriminatory manner. 28. Yeast are most likely to grow in a frozen fruits during option A slow thawing, option B refrigeration, option C ambient temperature, and option D none of the above. So the option A, that is slow thawing. Yeast is most likely to grow in a frozen fruits during slow thawings. Thus, frozen fruits are stored at a 0 degree Fahrenheit or minus 70 degrees Celsius. Question number 29. Watery soft rot is mostly found in option A only in mangoes, only option B cruciferous crops, option C cereals, and option D lipids. So the correct B, that is cruciferous crops. Soft rots commonly affect the vegetables such as potato, carrot, tomato, cucurbits, for example, cucumber, melon, squash, pumpkin, etc., and cruciferous crop, for example, cabbage and cauliflower. These diseases can occur on a crop in the field as well as on harvested crops in a storage. A very common disease in fruits and vegetables that can occur in the field, but it is more common during storage and transportation. Now, moving forward to our last question, which is which enzyme is activated during digestion process by the hydrochloric acid? Option A lysine, option B valine, option C pepsin, and option D proline. So option C, that is pepsin. Pepsin is a stomach enzyme that serves to digest protein found in ingested food. Gastric chief cells secretes pepsin as an inactive zymogen called pepsinogen, and partial cells within the stomach lining secretes hydrochloric acid, that is HCl acid, that lowers the pH of the stomach up to 1.5 to 2, which activates the pepsin enzyme. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any query and if you have any suggestion, kindly just put your comments to our inbox. If you have any suggestions regarding question answer, or if you need to discuss uh, some extra topics like food chemistry, food microbiology, or regarding questions, so please mark your comments on our inbox. We will definitely get back to you with such question paper with its explanation. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video.